The GOP senator from Kentucky, Mitch McConnell, finally retires after a very long time in office. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Mitch McConnell finally retiring after a very, very long time in office. Now, I got to put how long he's been serving in proper context. He was first elected to his seat that he's serving right now as a senator from Kentucky in 1984. Okay, I was born in 1984. All right. Now, I'm no spring chicken, but I'm not ancient. Okay, my knees is a little bit shaky. My back, hey, I need some WD-40. I need a little bit of mechanical operations on some of these body parts. You understand what I'm saying? I am 40 years old, which is as long as he's been serving. He is the 10th longest serving senator out of any party and the longest serving Senate leader out of any party. I think 40 years is a very long time for you to serve, and it's time to go. And by the way, he announced this today, February 20th, 2025, which is his 83rd birthday, 83 years old. Now, his retirement won't be immediate. Basically, he's not running for re-election in 2026, which means January 27, he will be done officially. Now, I don't want to see this man pass away on the floor. That how they did Dianne Feinstein and all. Who else did they have out there? Dianne Feinstein and John McCain and all these people. I don't want to see you do that. I'd rather see you go home right now, really, and just stop rather than continuing to be in government. Now, before I go any further, let's get to the actual clip here. I'll link to all articles in the box. I'll link to the video in the box. If you're on IG, Facebook, visit a link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Let's go right to NBC's Julie Sirkin on Capitol Hill. Julie, what are we learning?
Well, big news, but certainly not unexpected. Mitch McConnell, who is the longest serving party leader on either side of the aisle, announced today on his 83rd birthday that he will not seek re-election in 2026. Now, this was expected, but he makes it official today. And this is notable for so many reasons. Of course, he is 83 years old. He's had some health concerns, especially over the last year. He's actually in a wheelchair right now. That's how he gets around the Capitol, something he's refused to do. He's a polio survivor, and so his balance has always been shaky. But just in terms of the legacy that he's been able to cement here, we've seen during the first month, frankly, of the second Trump administration that he voted against key nominees of President Trump, including Pete Hegseth, including Tulsi Gabbard. The way he votes on Kash Patel later today in the confirmation vote is still an open question, but McConnell has really taken a stand against Trump, especially when it comes to foreign policy. This is somebody who, over the next year and a half, Jose, is going to have power as the top Republican on the defense subcommittee on the appropriations committee. That essentially means that he will go face to face with Pete Hegseth, with the Pentagon, with defense spending. This is important for McConnell as he is somebody who has cemented his legacy around his foreign policy chops. This is somebody who's the old guard of the Republican Party that we don't really see in the new freshman class in terms of his support of Ukraine and his continued support of that country.
That old guard is right. Old guard is right. And, you know, there were some things that may have worked when Mitch McConnell was younger than what he is right now, maybe 80 years ago. Now I'm kind of maybe back in the 90s. Some of these things may have made sense, but it's 2025. Times change, people change, the world changes. And if you are out of touch at a certain point, you're not really able to make the correct decisions, in my humble opinion. Like I said, he should have retired a long time ago, but I'm glad he's finally being forced to, really by virtue of him being 1,000 years old and having no other choice but to retire. When you're freezing at a podium, it's kind of hard to get your constituents to vote for you again.
Especially as the president has made disparaging comments about President Zelensky, and certainly McConnell in private and certainly in public, not a fan of how Trump is going about all of this. But this is, of course, a monumental day. It is an official day for McConnell. He has some bad blood, certainly not secret, with Trump. He's been ostracized and pushed out, essentially, of leadership because of that. But he has taken his role behind the scenes quite seriously.
And you know what? One thing about that, okay, McConnell pushed out of leadership, pushed aside. First of all, he's clearly not all the way there because he's old and he's showing signs of age. But beyond, like I said, a lot of what he wants to do is just not going to work anymore. If not for Trump coming in, the Republican Party would have died because what McConnell's doing, the people don't want. The leaders they want to bring forward, people don't want. The Republican Party would have died. They might as well all have become just one party and say openly that they are a uniparty rather than having the illusion of Democrat and Republican on the federal level, at least. On the state level, you still have that. On the federal level, they were becoming one big uniparty. It's all about getting that green dollar.
Seriously, as I've already laid out, and we will see in just a few moments when he takes to the floor and gives his floor speech about his decision, what he will have to say there. But it's also important to remember that while McConnell has taken this role as the Trump oppositioner in chief here, he is not somebody who voted to convict him during his second impeachment trial and perhaps gave way to the second Trump term, something, of course, McConnell long did not support, but ultimately came around last year and made some amends with the president and supported him ultimately in his position there, Jose.
All right, so there we go. McConnell is out of office. Now, here's his, I guess you would say, resignation speech, but not really resignation because he's just not going to run for office again. So he will effectively be out of office again, January 2027, when they bring in a new person.
I've never liked calling too much attention to today's date, February 20th. But I figured my birthday would be as good a day as any to share with our colleagues a decision I made last year. During my time in the Senate, I've only really answered to two constituencies: the Republican Conference and the people of Kentucky. Over the years, the first group trusted me to coordinate campaigns, to count votes, to steer committees, to take the majority, and on 9 occasions, to lead our conference. Serving as a Republican leader was a rare and, yes, rather specific childhood dream. And just about a year ago, I thanked my colleagues for their confidence, which allowed me to fulfill it. To the distinguished members of this body, I've had the privilege to lead, and I remain deeply, deeply grateful. Today, however, it's appropriate for me to speak about an even deeper allegiance and even longer standing gratitude. 7 times, my fellow Kentuckians have sent me to the Senate. Every day in between, I've been humbled by the trust they placed in me to do their business right here. Representing our Commonwealth has been the honor of a lifetime. I will not seek this honor an 8th time. My current term in the Senate will be my last.
So there we go. That is the speech that says he's not going to run again in 2026. Now, clearly, what you got, a 6-year term in the Senate? He can't do it because this year, 2025, he just turned 83. Next year, 2026, he'll be 84 running. And you got a 6-year term. You're going to be 90 years old and you're already having problems right now. So it's time. Like I said, it's been time for a while, but it's definitely 100% time right now. And you can't really avoid it. But as I close, I want to say this. I'm not going to sit here and say Mitch McConnell was never a good leader and was never a benefit to the party, because if he wasn't, he wouldn't have been elected so many times. Okay. However, I think that sometimes you got to know when to say, you know what, enough's enough. I'm out. Now I need to step aside and let others take the reins, because if you guys who've been in there for 40 years want to keep running it until you die and you don't want to relinquish any kind of power, who's going to be the people that come behind you? Who's going to be you got to pass the torch rather than carrying the torch to your grave. That's just my humble opinion, but I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your opinion about Mitch McConnell finally stepping down, or not stepping down, just not running again in 2026? Is it past due? Is it just the right time? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. This is past due. This is past due. Like I said, I'm not trying to say he was just a poor leader the entire time, because his constituents kept voting for him over and over again, and he kept being the leader in the Senate over and over and over again. But it's over. It's over. Everything doesn't last forever. Hey, you know, it was a good time. It was a good ride, but the ride's over. The time's over. Now it's time to move forward and let the new guard come in. Hopefully they can do better than what you did. And I'm not saying that because it's Mitch McConnell. I'm saying that in general. I think every leader should want their successor to be better than they are, because that means the people can improve consistently. You don't want stagnation or regression in general for your constituents. You should want the next guy to come in and pick up where you left off and do a lot better. That's the way it should be. That's parents raising their children. That's the natural order of things, in my humble opinion. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.